The superintendent of a Des Moines, Iowa school district just stepped down, but the story behind it's actually pretty interesting. So he was a guy who not only was in this country illegally, an illegal migrant to the United States, but was also somebody who had claimed to have all kinds of credentials, including even a doctorate degree, whose program he never actually completed. Now, the school board in that case knew that he hadn't completed the doctorate degree. They came to find that out during the interview process and still hired him, curiously. But now it turns out the man has at least allegedly committed a number of other crimes, is being deported from the country, and has had a final order of removal issued against him. Now let's put aside the obvious issues. If your first act of entering this country broke the law, you're more likely to break the law after you remain in the country. Those are easy, obvious facts. But the real question is, what the heck are we doing hiring a guy like that as a superintendent of a school district when our kids are going through the biggest educational achievement crisis that our country has ever seen? When the average student in the United States is a full 4 years behind the average student in China, a 7th grader here performing at the same academic standard as a 3rd grade student in China, we got to be thinking about elevating our hiring standards, not hiring people who intentionally entered the country illegally, go on to falsely represent their credentials, and even commit more crimes while they're here, being not just some person of a staff at one school, but the superintendent of the entire district. It doesn't make sense. This isn't controversial. This is common sense. This is not about right versus left. This is about right versus wrong. Checking a DEI box or whatever it is they were trying to do with this hire is no excuse for failing our students. This is a core part of the new American dream we need in this country, is standing up for our kids to get the highest quality education they can as the birthright of every kid born in this country. And that means not betraying those kids by putting people in charge of the education system who literally are not just, you could pick a random person out of 1,000 names in a hat and probably get a better candidate than somebody who's an illegal immigrant who falsely represents their credentials and still gets hired. It's a scathing indictment of the bureaucracy in education. And I got to say, we have to have the courage to represent what 90+% of us in this country want, stand for merit, stand for excellence, stand for standards in our public schools, and stop checking hiring quotas through hiring really underqualified is an understatement, woefully disastrous hires to run our schools. We're better than this. Let's get it right.